friends, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to The Sims 4, and welcome back to another speed build. We're back up on that penthouse lot. We're doing another one of those apartments, but we're doing one of the 2 bedrooms today. There are 2 bedrooms, 4 1-bedrooms, and then the lobby. We're doing a 2-bedroom today, but we aren't actually doing the 2nd bedroom as a bedroom. We're setting it up as an office, so, right now I have it set up where like 1 or 2 Sims could live here. Realistically, absolutely a whole family could live here because there is a second bedroom, so you could have like kids, or you could have roommates. You could have like do like the university roommates if you wanted, or you could have 2 playable roommates, like however you want to do that. There's 2 bedrooms, and there are actually 2 bathrooms in this apartment. There is 1 ensuite and 1 in the hallway. I am only, just for the record, and before I forget to tell you, I'm only going to show you 1 bathroom. I only recorded 1 bathroom because they are carbon copies of each other, but this is the only apartment that has 2 bathrooms, so that's kind of cool. The theme for this one here was dark boho, which, to be honest with you, I think I strayed a little left of center here. I don't think I quite hit the mark, but I like the way this apartment turned out. The thing about dark boho, when I was doing like my research on it, because it was like suggested to me, because I was thinking like I'd like to do something a little bit darker, a little more mature in tone maybe, and I was thinking originally like dark academia, but I got kind of close to that with another apartment, and I was like, well, what I'd really like to do is something a little bit noirsy, a little like Private Eye, gritty, maybe like LA, that kind of like like film noir kind of vibe, right? Very noirsy, very dark, very gritty. Maybe Shadow of Doubt is another good thing to bring to mind on that one. And the thing is with that is I don't know how to do that. Like, full disclosure, I sat down and I kind of looked at what we had in game and I went, I'm not sure how to pull that off. I'm not sure how to pull that off in a way that would like make me feel good sharing it with y'all and make me feel like I created something that y'all would like. So that's in the back pocket. I'm gonna work on that. And then I was like, but I still want to do something kind of dark and moody, but with a little bit more color, a little bit maybe more within my wheelhouse, just a little bit. And so a friend of mine was like, well, what about dark boho? And I was like, what on earth is dark boho? And she's like, it's boho, but it's dark, which, duh, self-explanatory. But basically, she's not wrong. It was literally, it's all those warm textures and layers and textures and lots of plants, and things are mismatched, but in a very cozy way, but in a very dark color palette, in a very sort of moody color palette. A lot of the stuff I saw online were maybe like leaning a little witchy, leaning a little, almost like, they were like vague touches of like, I don't want to say goth. I saw something recently, someone called it, and I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like vulture core or something like that. There's a whole bunch of different aesthetics that I know nothing about. Someone went through a bunch of like a little bit more niche ones recently, and vulture core was like the skulls on the wall and like that very like messy like found objects collections vibe, and there was like a little bit of that in there, where there was sort of that like, I always call it the I Spy vibe, because there was a very specific I Spy computer game way back when discs were still a thing and you played on the family computer. I'm dating myself. And it had that very sort of like creepy mansion, found object, skulls and vultures or crows, or another good one, dark at night, creepy tree, that kind of thing. That's what it kind of reminded me of. There was a little bit of that in this aesthetic too. It seemed like there was a little bit of that like warm, cozy boho, but just like with an edge, right? And so that's kind of what I was going through with this whole thing. That kind of like, it's like definitely warm and cozy, but when you walk in, you're like, this person is cool too, right? And so everything's like a little askew. The couch is askew, the chairs are askew. I did want a dining set in here. It's a little tight, but it does all work, at least when I was testing it. And I do put a couple of chairs at the peninsula here that, like, it's an island, but because it's connected to the wall, it's called a peninsula. I think that's what I've always called it. That's what everyone I've known always called it. Someone recently said that's not a thing, so I apologize if it's not a thing. I've always called islands in kitchens that connect to the wall peninsulas. Anywho's and ways, there's some seating up there as well. So like, if you didn't want to use the office as an office, you could put your laptop there, and that would work as well, because you do have the dining table, so you have a place to eat as well as you could have a place to work. And to be honest with you, sometimes it's nice to just work someplace that isn't a designated office if you're just doing something light, so you're not like in work mode. The office is really cool. I think the office is my favorite part of this build, which we'll get to here in a minute. Although I do really like the kitchen. I do end up putting the brick back. I like got so caught up in trying to get the correct green that I covered up the brick, but here you see me adding it back, adding like a little bit of a darker tinged brick here. And to be clear, I love the green that's on the walls. I just really wanted it to come with a little bit of, my brain is saying edging, and that's not what it's called. The molding, there we go. I wanted a little bit of like crown molding, or like some footrests on the bottom there. And this particular green does not come with like the decorative wall, like molding and things. There's no crown molding and stuff, which is really a bummer. It really is one of those moments where I'm like, one of the color wheels would be so nice, because I would take one of those wallpapers with the crown molding on it, and I would make it this color, because I do love me a crown molding. This apartment is a little more upgraded than some of these single bedroom ones too, because I imagine this person maybe lived here longer, had some time to do some more upgrades, put a little bit more time and effort into their aesthetic, and maybe they just were a little bit more into doing their apartment. I know there are some people, I'm one of those people who I'm like, I love the way my space looks, but I'm not spending hours upon hours decorating it necessarily, which is funny for me, because you would think, as someone who plays this game, I would spend a lot more time decorating. And then I have friends who, like, literally a pastime of theirs is changing up their house, and I think that's so cool. They have different decor for every season, different decor for every holiday, and I think that's really awesome. I'm putting extra pillows on this couch because I really love this couch. I really love this color. This couch is from the Casanova kit. Ooh, I can't remember the full name of that. I don't think it's called just the Casanova kit. It's the something Casanova kit, but I can't remember what it's called offhand. Either way, it's the Don Lothario kit. And it is such a good couch. I'm shocked by it, but the only thing is it doesn't have pillows, so it doesn't look very comfy to sit on. It looks like it would kind of sag, to be honest with you, but it does give off a very, correct vibe for what we were trying to do today. And because the kitchen was so big, I got to actually do appliances. So we have a little hot pot there, and then we have a coffee maker, like an espresso machine, except I don't think that one specifically is an espresso machine. I think that one's just a coffee maker, but because I never use them in The Sims, I don't know. I don't actually know if there's a difference. You'll see me do a lot of placing down multiple items in all of the slots on a table here, and then carefully alt placing the thing that I want. I was having that issue quite a bit where I was needing to place something very specifically, and the slots were getting in the way. That's just a me issue, because I like to be very particular with how I put things. But if you ever see me doing that, that's all it is I'm just trying to fill all the slots so that it doesn't auto place into the slots, so that I can then alt place it somewhere else. That's especially important on things like when you size down a table, because if you just let it slot in, it'll float. And we did actually do that in the living room, I believe. Or maybe I didn't. I can't remember if I sized down the table now or not. I know at one point I thought about sizing down the table. Or maybe I sized down one of them. We'll have to watch the footage and come back to it. I had 3 different ideas for the table in here, so I can't remember what I did without seeing it now. And I'm so busy chatting with y'all, I'm not paying attention. I should pay more attention. The only part about this apartment that I don't love is this long hallway. When I was doing the layouts, it was fine. It wasn't a big deal. But now that I've decorated it, I'm a little bit that hallway's not a great use of space. It's fine, but it's not a great use of space. But I guess it's also probably relatively realistic, because not all of the time are you gonna get an apartment with a super grand layout, and not all apartments are super open concept. Most of them in this build, in this penthouse build that we've got going on, are. But I know there's a lot of places that have specific rooms because they're older buildings. We should do something like that. It'd be fun to do a similar concept, but on a different building with an older vibe. That would be really fun. So here we're in my, I think, favorite room of this build, which is the office, which is very dark and moody, and I do enjoy it very much. It feels very warm, despite its moodiness. And I'm really excited to show you. I'm just kind of killing time for a minute, because I'm about to show you my favorite part, which is the wall. We did a custom collage of pictures and found objects, and this is where I really started thinking about who this person was. There's lots of hobbies in here too. Now I'm pretty sure, it's been a minute, but I'm pretty sure that telescope will not work. It is set dressing at this point, because I'm pretty sure the telescope has to be able to see the sky. So they won't gaze through the window. I just liked the storytelling of it. I just thought it was kind of fun, to have it there. It really is just set dressing, but you could, I think they're live draggable. If not, you could put it in the household inventory and then do stuff with it, or just keep it until you move to a house. Your sim will be able to use it if you can get access to the sky. And if we do end up doing something, I was thinking about maybe putting an outdoor space on the roof of this build, because I want to do something really cool with the lobby, but I haven't decided what yet. Maybe your sim could like take their telescope out and hang out on the roof. Look at this wall. Give it a minute. It's not done yet because the sun I felt like really didn't fit. And then I found this guy and I was like, oh heck yes. Look at how cool this wall is. Look at how cool with like the little like cupboard space and the lamp that's coming up in the bookshelf. I was so proud of this. I'm gonna stay so proud of this. I love this little wall and how it turned out. I think it's so cool. I really, really love it. And honestly, it's not that many pieces. It looks like a lot, but the paranormal thing really helped me out. And it's nice when you're able to pull something like this off because I really love the artwork in the paranormal collage. It's from the paranormal pack. It's not haunted. Well, I guess it could be haunted, but it's not haunted. But it's like crooked. It's meant to go up a staircase, but it only kind of works on like one wall, and it's very specific because it's crooked. So I really like filling out like that because now it has a use case in this room without looking diagonal or crooked or like it's meant to go up a staircase, you know? So that's really nice. And then I did put a bar in here. And then I believe it's just a corkboard over here. I wanted it to look like an actual office and work like an actual office. There's lots of hobbies and things in here you can do. I was trying to imagine who lived here, and I was like, maybe an architect, maybe an artist, maybe a famous journalist. I don't know. Someone who needs an office space to work from home. I thought that would be really, really cool. And, you know, maybe they just paint on the side or whatever, but there are hobbies in here. I like when you can fit hobbies in a place. Where like especially like painting is always nice to have because it makes so much money in The Sims, and quite frankly with this apartment you're probably gonna need to make some money. This apartment's probably gonna have some pretty expensive bills, I would wager, but it's pretty, so maybe it's worth it. It's pretty, so maybe it's worth it. Of course, per usual, trying to figure out how to put curtains up was the bane of my existence. You know, there are some builds where I just go, maybe I can justify not. In this particular case, it didn't feel like I could justify not because obviously with the boho vibe, like, I needed texture on texture on texture. I was trying to do like multiple rugs and all of this. But there are some times where like, I would just, if I could get away with it, I would straight up just ignore. Yes, there is batu used in here. I believe batu is used in a couple places because I really like the lights. I really like the lights of batu, which is not what you hear super often. A lot of people really like the brickwork, which I do like the brickwork too. I don't use it a lot. I just don't use a lot of like pavers and stuff. But I really like the lights because they remind me very much of like a fun 70s vibe, which is very like kind of weird, but they've got that like kind of retro vibe. I like the metals. I like that they're kind of statement lamps when you size them down. They don't work super well in this house too much, only because of the wall height, because in order to make the lamps make sense in like a non-Star Wars fashion, you have to kind of size them down so they're more like a fun feature piece. But then they're too tall because the wall heights are medium on both levels of this lot, because it was the only way to make it look not dumb on top of the building, because the building is all medium height walls, which is a bummer. I don't love that, to be honest with you, but like when I was initially putting together the shell, I sat with it with short wall height because that's my favorite for like a while, and it just didn't, it was hard, right? It just didn't look quite right, and I went back and forth on whether or not to like do short, but ultimately went with medium. And then vastly limited myself on ceiling lights. Just like vastly limited myself. And here we're trying to do a little bit more boho. A little bit lighter to start. I wanted a lighter wood in here because I'd gone so dark in the other spaces. I was like, I don't want the whole space to be like monotone. So with lighter woods, a little bit of a darker wall, lots of plants. So this is a little more boho. Light boho, I would guess. Just boho. Just plain boho. I don't know. And I knew I wanted giant plants because that was a really common thing in a lot of the reference photos I was looking at. A lot of the like research material was these big old plants and a lot of them. So I was going back and forth trying to figure out where to fit these like giant plants and make them make sense. And the problem is always going to exist that in real life when you have a giant plant and you put it in a corner, the leaves are going to prop up against the wall. And like that makes sense. Like I have a giant plant in my house. Her name is Bliss. I don't actually know what she is because I inherited her from my parents. Like they still have her, but because she lives in my house, I like take care of her now. She was at my parents' wedding. She was one of my parents' wedding plants, and she was just a little bitty thing. And now she's tall enough, she's climbing up into my skylight, which is super great. But she absolutely leans and follows like the wall up to the ceiling, up to the skylight. And if it was in The Sims, she would just poke at the ceiling, you know? And I don't, even if they didn't make the leaves bend, because like obviously that would be insane, right? Like that'd be so much code, so much overhead. I was trying to fix the plant pot here. I gave up. Don't even worry about it. It was not worth it. But even if they didn't make it where the leaves bent in, if they would just make it so that they didn't stick out the other side, I'd be fine with that, because we could suspend our disbelief a little bit and be like, oh, that leaf that's missing, it's just bent up under itself, or maybe it just got broke, you know. Sometimes that happens with plants. But because it sticks out the other side, it's hard to justify, because I can't like prop it in the corner and then like walk outside and half a leaf is out there, or like, you know, it would be nice if they just like didn't go through walls. And I'm not sure, I feel like there's other things that do that. I feel like I'm drawing a blank, but I feel like there's other things in this game that do that. So it's gotta be an option, right? I don't know. And I was trying to figure out what table to put here. I ended up going with this one because the woods match nicely, which is unheard of. Originally I wanted to do that little stand, and I really like that little stand, the little like, I think it's Cozy Kitsch. And it looks like a step stool. I love that one, but it feels so big every time I go to use it. It feels a little big for what it is. Like, to me, it feels like it should be a smaller one. But then it's really hard to get things on it nicely. It's really hard to get the sizing right, because like things float. It's like if you size it down, then it's like a little short to get like a shelf and stuff. It's just hard. It's okay. I do love that one. I don't know, something about it screams that it should be a little bit shorter. Here I'm layering like a ton of rugs, because I really wanted that like layered texture look, and I can't obviously put those on the bed, so we had to get it somewhere. I like the way this looks. Is it gonna be for everyone? No. Is it probably gonna clip a little bit during gameplay? Probably. It's either gonna be it drives you crazy and you have to remove them, and I totally get that, because sometimes that's me, or it's going to be I can live with this, and every once in a while my rugs just change orders and we have a ghost, you know. That is also an option. It really depends. Although I will say, I don't know if I see rugs change a ton. Once you've placed them, they're usually pretty okay. If you end up grabbing them again, obviously they change direction. And then a very simple, sleek bathroom. Didn't go anything crazy here. And there is another bathroom in the house, but it looks literally directly like this. I don't believe I filmed it, and if I filmed it, I don't believe I actually stuck it in here. Just simple and easy. Very clean, very neat. Doesn't have a lot of that boho vibe, because I don't know, it doesn't really matter what my house looks like. I like a light, clean bathroom, and this bathroom is definitely more upgraded than the other ones in the lot so far, because all of the one bedroom ones are definitely supposed to be like a little bit more like builder basic. This one I was a little bit like, well, they'd probably put a little bit more money into this place, you know, maybe. But also, again, we had kind of decided this person had lived here long enough that maybe they put some money in. Maybe this is all renter-friendly stuff. Who knows? You know, if I lived in a place for 10 years, I guarantee my landlord would come in and be like, oh, you changed things. And I'd be like, don't worry, I'll put it back. There's no toilet paper, though, because I struggled with it. So we're just going to pretend it's in like a shelf or something. I don't know. It's The Sims, it's okay. We're just going to suspend our disbelief on that one for like a minute. But now we're here at the screenshots, so I'm going to let you go because I've been talking your ear off all day. But I hope you're having a good day and you're feeling loved. And if you're not feeling loved, please know that I love you. Glad you exist. I'm glad you're here hanging out. You make the world, the Sims world, and the real world a better place just by being you. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know. Did I hit it or did I miss the mark on Dark Boho? I feel like I'm a little left of center, but I'm close. I feel like the effort there shows at least. But anyways, I think that's all you need to hear from me. Okay, love you. Bye.